Are you looking to find the best freelance writing niche in 2019? In this video, I want to cover the importance of establishing your niche as a freelance writer, some of the most popular and some of the most high paying. I'll make sure to cover all the things I wish I would have known when I got started as a freelance writer, and what to do if you're just getting started and not quite sure you're ready for a niche and are what's considered a generalist. Let's go. Alright, if you're new to the channel, thank you again for being here. My name is Michael Leonard and I am a full-time copywriter and creator of Inspire Your Success. The blog, podcast, and YouTube is all created to help give you the ideas and the strategies to really take your online business goals and dreams and make them into a reality. So hopefully you guys find this video and everything else useful. This video specifically is all about picking your own freelance writing niche. And again, I got started about 2 years ago or so in my freelance writing journey, and this is one of those topics that I wish I would have known a little bit more about in the beginning. So if you're just getting started, this is an awesome time. Freelance writing is very in demand. This is a video that can help you really make a lot of money as a writer. So, all right, so to get started, just to give you a little bit of background, when I got started, I was more of a generalist. I didn't really have a specific niche. I had done some personal finance writing. I had actually published a book back there, but I didn't really have a ton of online experience. I had my own blog, but I had published about 12 blog posts, so I didn't have a ton of experience per se. But basically over time, I've been able to kind of transform that into personal finance was my first niche that I wrote in, and then it kind of molded more into personal development and entrepreneurship. One of the things that I also have been paid to do, and kind of my secondary niche, is golf. I'm an avid golfer. When I left my 9-to-5 2 years ago, it was to build this online business and to pursue professional golf. So it's something that I've been at for 20 years, and I never thought I'd actually get paid to write about it, but I've had several clients and some of my best paying work actually for golf. So I kind of have two different niches, and I'll talk more about how you can have more than one in just a minute. But just to give you kind of a background of where I've came from and how I've evolved in my freelance writing journey. Alright, so how do you actually choose the best freelance writing niche? That is such a great question, and it's one that I think doesn't have to be super complicated. So I want to actually jump in here behind the computer and show you a little bit more about it. Alright guys, welcome back, and again, this is just trying to figure out how you can find your freelance writing niche in the marketplace. So there's a lot of things out there. People really kind of overcomplicate the process, so forgive the kind of ghetto visuals here, but I wanted to give you an illustration of what you need to be thinking about and how you can easily pick your niche, and obviously it's one that you're knowledgeable about and can get paid a lot for. So the three things that you kind of want to think about is, are you knowledgeable about the topic? That is the first step. Either you have to be knowledgeable about it, or you have to be willing to learn about it. So here's the thing. Like, I didn't become a great golf writer because I read a lot of golf things. I did that because I've been playing the game for 20 years, and it's just something that is like a second language to me. So that is one thing to know, is that one, you can have one niche for sure, but if you have a secondary one like me, don't just totally discard that and think I just have to write about one thing, especially if you're just getting started as a freelance writer. So first of all, make sure you're knowledgeable about it. So when I got started as a writer, like I mentioned, I was very knowledgeable about stocks, bonds, investing, side hustles, early retirement, money market accounts, like all this just like geeky finance stuff. And that was kind of some of the first jobs that I got. But again, golf is another one that I've gotten paid very well, and it's something I'm knowledgeable about. So the first thing when picking your freelance writing niche is to make sure you are knowledgeable about it, or you are willing to learn. The second thing is to make sure your topic is in demand. Honestly, this won't be that big of an issue at this point because pretty much everything is written about online. I mean, whether you're knitting or talking about finances or lacrosse, I mean, pretty much everything has a website, blogs, different YouTube channels. I mean, there is just a need for content pretty much everywhere. So this one isn't as big of a deal, but it will determine kind of what you get paid. So here's the thing, is that you have to think about, is the topic in demand? Meaning, will the people that own these websites or blogs be able to actually pay you good money? Because it does take a little while to monetize websites. So a lot of people might just be getting started and might not be able to afford you depending on where you're at in the marketplace. So it's important to make sure it is in demand. But again, remember that everything is going to pay different. Like some clients will pay $1 a word. Some clients might not pay more than 15 cents a word. So you have to figure out kind of where you're at and just understand that it is a process. You're going to have to kind of vet it out. Just a little bit further in the video, I'll talk more about some of the most profitable niches as well. But just remember that it has to be in demand. People have to be searching for what you're knowledgeable about. So that way you can write content and get paid for it. And then the last thing is to enjoy the writing. Now, some writers will fight me on this one, but this is just where I come from. I have done writing that I hated doing, and I've done writing that I really liked doing. And here's the thing. It really is just like a job when it comes to it in this sense. If you go to a job you hate, it's going to take longer. It's going to feel like eternity. You're not going to want to do it. Just like with writing, if you were writing about something you like, for example, for me, it's golf. Like that isn't really writing or work to me. That's pretty easy. I enjoy doing it. It's not something I dread doing. So you have to think about how happy are you going to be writing about this? And that's the thing, is that you can kind of be all or nothing, or you can be in the middle. So here's kind of what I did. For example, when I was first getting started and I was just figuring it out, getting my niches and understanding the different topics I could write about and how much I could get paid, I was doing a little bit of both. So I had like personal finance clients that were really high paying. And then the golf one wasn't quite as high paying, but again, I enjoyed doing it. So it didn't really feel like work. So it really depends on what your income goals are and what you want to write about. Because for me, it got really exhausting writing 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 word posts about different 401k options and things like that. Like they were just so astonishingly boring. So I think it's really important to use that in there, because if you want to make it as a long-term freelance writer, in my opinion, I think that you should at least enjoy some or all of your writing. Now, again, that's not to say that's always going to be the case. I know certain writers that make $200,000 a year, but they hate what they write about. To me, again, I just find a balance of finding work that I enjoy doing and it pays well. So that is kind of where you should get started, and we're going to keep going here, but just wanted to give you kind of that Venn diagram to figure out where you can get that sweet spot, because the money is in the middle. And not only will you make good money, but you'll actually enjoy it. Because again, if you're freelance writing, chances are you don't like corporate America, you don't want to go back to a 9-to-5, or you want to leave a 9-to-5. And so most of the reasons people don't like 9-to-5s are obviously capped income and doing things they don't care about. So if you're in that, I don't want you to switch to freelance writing and then have a similar situation. So again, that's just kind of a good start, and then we'll keep going here. Okay, so you got over my ghetto Venn diagram and you understand a little bit more about how to pick your niche and figuring out those big 3 components. So let's keep going. So when it comes to picking a profitable freelance writing niche, you have to realize again that you have to go to websites and blogs that are actually making money so they can pay writers. Now, bigger sites and corporations that actually just have websites and blogs are typically going to pay the most. So it's really important, again, that you make sure you're pitching websites and you're finding potential clients that have the budget to pay you. Small blogs are not going to be able to pay you 30, 40 or cents a word or $1 a word. It's just not usually the case. So you have to kind of find a balance of either writing for smaller blogs, which is great because you have consistent content and more of a personalized feel, versus writing for major corporations where you can get 30, 40, 50 cents or more a word depending on your experience. But again, it isn't going to be the same as writing for that blog. So what I recommend doing is kind of having a combination of the two, knowing that when you're just getting started as a freelance writer, sometimes you have to kind of test the waters and see what works. But some of the most profitable freelance writing niches usually are personal finance, digital marketing, if you're ghostwriting for CEOs, those are a couple of the ones that I've personally done and got paid to do a lot for. Some other ones would include usually marketing blogs, depending on what kind of financial writer, maybe cryptocurrency. So it really depends on kind of what new trends or emerging markets. If you are more of a copywriter, then you can also do email sequences, sales pages, because again, those are converting for serious money. So those usually you can demand a higher rate for. But if you're just getting started in that content writing side and you really don't have much experience yet, I really recommend doing those long form blog posts. Usually you can get paid consistent income from that. And again, bloggers always need new content. Websites always need new content. So those are just a few different little places. But again, you're gonna have to test it out, get out there and use that Venn diagram to kind of see what is the best